Good morning, everyone. Brought my glass case, and there's no glasses in it, so this is a backup pair that I keep in the other room. We are continuing with Merging with Śiva, beginning to meditate. Compilation of material from 1965 to 1970, and we're up to lesson 83. Becoming simple. When one begins to meditate, he should approach it dynamically, for it is becoming more alive. He is penetrating his awareness into the very source of life itself, for eventually he hopes to attain the ultimate goal, merger with Śiva, the experience of the self beyond all time, beyond all form, beyond all cause. The experience of parashiva is attained only when one has become very simple, direct, uncomplicated. When a new nerve system has been built within this very body, strong enough to hold awareness within enough so that awareness itself can completely dissolve itself into its own essence, such that Ananda and parashiva are experienced. After that dynamic experience, man's heritage in this lifetime, one enters back into the mind, which is all form, creating, preserving, destroying, completely finished in all areas of manifestation, and moves freely through the mind, seeing it for what it is. Parashiva is the ultimate goal in merging with Śiva, the realization of the self in its totality. How does one know that one has experienced such an experience if you cannot speak of it? If it is beyond the mind, thought, cause, time, and space. And yet one does know, and vibrantly knows. There are various signposts. One is that one could go into parashiva, an ignorant person, and come out wise. Another, the urgency, the goal, the quest is over. He loses something. The desire for self-realization. Another signpost is that the self, the very core of existence, is always his point of reference. He relates to the exterior world only as an adult relates to the children's toys. Parashiva is to be sought after, worked for, and finally attained. But a lot of work must be done first. Choose a time for your meditation. Sit up so straight and strong and dynamic that you feel you are at that very moment the center of the universe. Regulate your breath so precisely that awareness flows freely out of the realm of thought into the perceptive areas of the mind. Then begin meditating on the two forces, odic and actinic. Be like the spaceman high above the surface of the earth, looking at the odic forces of the cities. Look then too at the odic forces, the magnetic forces that motivate your life within yourself and between people and you and things. Feel the actinic force flooding out from the central source of energy itself. And then turn awareness in upon itself. Simply be aware of being aware. Sit in dynamic bliss. And in coming out of this meditation, next feel the power of the spine. Vibrant energy flooding out through the nerve system, the hands, the arms, the legs, the head. Enter back into life joyfully, joyously. And my commentary, Gurudeva has stated the ultimate goal of meditation as realization of the self, parashiva. In many modern approaches to meditation, such a profound and ultimate goal is not mentioned. For example, a popular approach is transcendental meditation. Its official website says that transcendental meditation doesn't focus on breathing or chanting like other forms of meditation. Instead, it encourages a restful state of mind beyond thinking. A 2009 study found transcendental meditation helped alleviate stress in college students, while another found it helpful to reduce blood pressure, anxiety, depression, and anger. So you can see it left something out called the ultimate goal. So these are all good. We're not trying to criticize transcendental meditation or these results, but it's totally missing the deeper side of meditation. That's the point. So in our approach, we're encompassing both simple benefits, as mentioned here, as well as ultimate goals of realizing parashiva and therefore eventually achieving moksha. And my commentary continues. Another term for the deeper goals of meditation is samadhi, which of course is the eighth of the 8 limbs of yoga. Our lexicon gives this definition, which is really good. Samadhi, ecstasy, which means standing within oneself. Sameness, contemplation, union, wholeness, completion, accomplishment. Samadhi is the true Samadhi is the state of true yoga in which the meditator and the object of meditation are one. Samadhi is of 2 levels. The first is savakalpa samadhi, ecstasy with form or seed, identification or oneness with the essence of an object. Its highest form is the realization of the primal substratum of pure consciousness, Satchit Ananda. Read that again. Its highest form is the realization of the primal substratum or pure consciousness, Satchit Ananda. Second is nirvikalpa samadhi, ecstasy without form or seed, identification with the self, in which all modes of consciousness are transcended and absolute reality, parashiva, beyond time, form, and space is experienced. This brings in its aftermath a complete transformation of consciousness. In Patanjali's classical yoga, nirvikalpa samadhi is known as asamprajñata samadhi, supraconscious ecstasy. Samadhi, or beingness without thought or cognition, prajña. Savakalpa samadhi is also called samprajñata samadhi, conscious ecstasy. Then we back to the text. Lesson 84, Discipline and Success. It is very important to decide exactly what you are going to meditate on before beginning. Then stay with the decision throughout the meditation and make every effort to avoid the tendency to become distracted and take off in a new direction. The Shum language as a tool for guiding the meditator is very helpful because the individual's awareness is precisely held within the chosen area. This is similar to how we must discipline ourselves to be successful in outer activities. To become distracted is unacceptable. Successful people finish what they begin. It is possible to learn to meditate extremely well, but be unsuccessful in practicing it if the meditator allows himself to become sidetracked once the inside of the mind has opened. To be successful, one has to be very, very firm with oneself when beginning a meditation. Each meditation must be performed in the way it was intended to be performed when the meditation was begun. To be successful in meditation, we have to bring the mind into a disciplined state. Undisciplined people can never be told what to do because they will not listen. Their awareness is wafted around by every little fancy that comes along. Those who really want to make progress in meditation and continue to do so and better themselves year after year after year have to approach this art in an extremely positive and systematic way. Thousands of devotees have come and gone since the beginning of my mission in 1949. So that's age 22. Gurudeva looks at, he started his mission. Each one of them was determined to go deep within and realize the self, but many gave up along the way. This was because at times the Shakti power became very strong within them, and their inner nerve system was not ready to receive the impact. Others were successful because they were more disciplined, and when their inner power came up, they enjoyed its intensity. By holding it steady within the spine, they rested in the bliss of awareness, aware only of itself. They then continued the meditation as planned after the power began to wane. And we have some different material in my commentary. This is a standard presentation I developed on different types of meditation. It's primarily designed to help someone who's not totally familiar with Gurudeva's style of meditation to understand how it differs from what others call meditation. First one really surprised me when I prepared this talk many years ago. Passage meditation. Eknath Ishwaran is an exponent of this approach to meditation. The Blue Mountain Meditation Center website describes it as silent repetition in the mind of memorized inspirational passages from the world's great religions. Wonderful practice, but that's what's being called meditation. Never would have thought that. Visualizing the form of the deity. The approach here is that, for example, we are meditating on Lord Shiva by mentally visualizing the murti of Nataraja. Vision of the deity. This approach is to use the sixth chakra of divine sight to have an actual vision of the deity. And of course, a vision and a visualization are totally different experiences. The visualization is just a creation of your mind, whereas the vision is actually looking into the world of the gods and seeing something that's there. So it's not at all created by your mind. Repeating a mantra. The approach is to mentally repeat a mantra over and over again. Of course, we do that too, but we consider it japa and not meditation. Repeating a mantra combined with pranayama. This approach adds to the previous mantra repetition doing a pranayama at the same time. Experiencing an aspect of the superconscious realms. This approach is to, for example, listen to the inner high-pitched E sound or to see the inner clear white light. So, we all know that's the approach that Gurudeva uses, looking into the superconscious realms. And a good example of that is in the meditation he created, Shiva Chaitanya. So we look at inner light, Jyoti. Observe the light that illumines the thoughts. Concentrate only on that light as you might practice being more aware of the light on a TV screen than of its changing pictures. Sacred sound, nada. Listen to the constant high-pitched E sounding in the head. It is like the tone of an electrical transformer, 100 tambours distantly playing, or a humming swarm of bees. And then we have the two perspectives in the Shum language. that relate, Shumif and Dimfi. So Shumif we're familiar with quite well. One of the four perspectives, the meditative viewpoint of being awareness flowing from one area of the mind to another. The mind itself being stationary. The perspective of the Shum Chef language is also simply called the Shum perspective. In Siddhanta, it includes the deeper meditative practices. It is a Dvaita, or a monistic viewpoint. Then we get Dimfi, one of four perspectives, a metaphysical viewpoint of looking into inner and outer space. It is a perspective that acknowledges, understands, and communicates with God and gods, beings on the astral plane, people from other planets. It is here that all psychic phenomena take place. In Siddhanta, it includes the consciousness of the Devas, Mahadevas, and God Shiva experienced in the temple. It is Dvaita, or a dualistic viewpoint. Then Gurudeva comments on these both. In Shumnam, meditation, the Shumif perspective of the three worlds and seven dimensions of the mind does not involve us in the knowledge of the Devas and Mahadevas who live in the inner worlds. You would be experiencing through the Shumif perspective exactly what the Devas would experience in the second and third world, were they to meditate upon the Shum concepts. Shumif is pure Advaita. When we become conscious of Devas, Mahadevas, or our personal deity, we have transferred our perspective into what is called Dimfi, which is pure Dvaitist. In other words, Dimfi is the perspective used in temple worship. We're worshiping the deity as separate from us. Where Shumif is the perspective used in meditation, where everything we find is just ourself. There's no second person involved in Shumif and that approach to meditation. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.